If you're a recent computer science graduate, the question isn't whether you should leave your first job, it's when and how. Most career advice for computer scientists focuses on technical skills, but that's only half the equation. Today, I'm revealing the strategic framework I've taught to students who went on to leading technical positions at Google, Amazon, Apple, and countless startups. The approach is simpler than you might think. If you're new here, welcome to Frank Staiano Explains. I'm a computer science professor at the University of Cambridge and a fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge. And I was myself a software developer in industry before that, and I have started a couple of companies. This video is in response to my longtime subscriber, Ninad Sashania, hello, who often drops insightful questions in the comments. And a while ago, he wrote the following. Professor, could you do some videos for people who have graduated and are now looking for their first or even second job? How do you find the right place for you? How do you identify that the job will or will not involve meaningful and fulfilling work? What should you do to stand out from the crowd? How do you even get an interview offer? When is the right time to move on from your current job? Should you switch jobs or stay? These are all questions I struggle with. For context, I graduated last year from university and I have been working professionally as a software engineer for more than a year. These are great questions, and it's great that you are asking yourself those questions. This already puts you well ahead of the pack. But first of all, let me suggest some other questions I think you should be asking yourself. So first of all, I think you should clarify what is good for you. Clarify your career goals. Identify what is missing for you in your current position. What is prompting you to want to change? Because that's different for everyone. Identify what you want. It could be you want more money, okay? Or it could be I want more personal growth. Or maybe I want a shorter commute. Or maybe I want smarter colleagues. Or maybe I want to live in a place where houses don't cost so much. Or maybe I want a friendlier boss. Or maybe I want more engaging work content. I want a different role that gives me more responsibilities. Or maybe I want a role that gives me less responsibilities. I want a better work-life balance. I want to do stuff that I find more cool. I want to live in a place with a better corporate culture. I want to have a stake in the business. I don't just want to be a cog in the machine. I want to feel that I'm changing the world. Whatever it is, you have to identify what it is for you that makes you think about getting a second job. What makes you unsatisfied about your first job? Because if you don't have a clear idea where you want to get to, you will never get there, of course. I think it's worth distinguishing between the symptoms and the root causes of the dissatisfaction. Because you don't want to waste time on just superficial things. You want to go at the core of the issue and solve it for the long term, because every one of these changes is going to be a disruption for you. It's only worth doing if it actually addresses the real problem. And you should have a kind of list of things you really want with scores. You know, how much do I want this? How important is it for me? Career fulfillment inventory that defines, okay, what is it that I actually care about? What is it that is a kind of a nice to have that I could live without so long as I have my main things satisfied? So in my case, for example, if I compare what you said with what happened to me in my first job after 1 year or two in my first job, well, I was actually very happy where I was. And I could feel, I was the lowest of the low. At least that's how I perceive myself. My boss told me years later that's not what he saw myself as. But I felt I was like the most junior of everyone that was around me. I was the most incompetent. And I longed to become like one of my colleagues who could do more things and so on and so on. But I could see, in my perception, I could do that within the company. I could grow within the company and become what I wasn't yet. And I wanted to stay in the company and become more competent, more accomplished, more senior, and have more responsibilities and so on and so forth. I didn't look for doing that by changing jobs. I was looking at doing that by improving myself in there. So whatever matters for you, identify that and then try to find out whether it is something that you could do in the place you currently are, or whether it does require a change of employer in order to get to where you want. If the outcome of this exercise is that you need to switch, you need to change employer in order to get to what you want, because no matter what you do, there's no path in your current company to get to a place that ticks your important boxes, then okay. The second thing to do is research your alternatives in a serious, strategic way. So don't just look at places that offer software engineering jobs. You have to identify specific, 2 or 3 specific workplaces that would really tick your boxes. This is where I want to work. This is where I would be proud of handing people a business card that had my name and the logo of this company. I would be proud to hand out that business card to people. Nowadays, people don't do business cards so much. I'm still bound to business cards, both because I used to have a stack of business cards all the time, and because in Japan, they're still very much in use. But anyway, you see my point. So what you should do is, first of all, see which companies in your mental image are where you would like to be. And then try to find out if this is just your own fantasy or if that matches the reality of actually working there. So the most famous, biggest company in tech these days, the Apples, Googles, Amazons, and Nvidia, and God knows what else. All these things may be the things that a computer scientist aspires to, but try to find out, is it really what I would want? What do people who actually work in there think about? So try to identify people who work there and maybe have a social media presence, they have a blog, they have a YouTube channel, they have whatever, and see what they say about what they do, what it is that makes them tick. Is this something that you resonate with? Try to find out from individuals that you could see as potential role models, or you in 5 years, or you in 20 years. If this is someone you would like to become, do they enjoy doing that, or has it become routine? See what they say about what they do. Do you resonate with that? If it's a social media presence where you can interact, you can ask your own questions like you did on the video that you responded to, and as a consequence I made this other video, then do that there. See what they say about your questions about working in that type of environment. Now, of course, you don't have to make this bi-directional. You don't have to ask a question and wait for their personal response to you. You can just unidirectionally absorb stuff from them just by seeing what they wrote, seeing what they published, seeing what they spoke about in various venues. It could be that you might identify some of them going to a conference that you're also going to for your own work, and then make a point of listening to them, maybe catching up during the breaks, introduce yourself, and start talking about their perspective, your perspective, and so on. I have another video about talking to people you don't know at conferences, and that might give you suggestions. And then once you've decided on 2 or 3 places you would actually want to switch to, then you should find a way to get hired. How do you get hired by the place that you want to work at? You should position yourself as a candidate that they want. So as I often say, you shouldn't look at things from your perspective. You should look at things from their perspective. So you should recast your application materials, your CV, from the stuff I like about myself to the stuff they are interested in the candidates that they're looking for. They might have a job application on their website already, okay? And so if they are looking for someone with more or less your competence, then please highlight it. Highlight the things you expect them to want from the perspective of the person in human resources who's going to pre-filter those CVs and deciding who am I going to call for interview. You're thinking of those role models from before, people who are already working there. What do you think got them there? And have you got what it takes? What is it that you think made them a good hire for that company? If you have these things, then highlight them, make it prominent in your application, in your cover letter, and in your CV. And if you don't have it, I mean, if you honestly look at your things, so you compare with the CV that guy might have sent at my age, I think he was a lot stronger in this and a lot stronger in that, and I wouldn't really compare. And if they had to choose between one, I mean, I would choose the other guy. Then in that case, level up, gain the skills you need before you send the CV. If you believe that you are not up to scratch, be honest with yourself. But anyway, whatever you have, what are you bringing to the table? See it from their side and emphasize the things that you believe they would appreciate. So emphasize the ones of your abilities, problem solving, versatility, competence this, competence that you think they are looking for. And so in summary, I would say, first of all, identify what you want to get out of your position, out of your job. What are the priorities for you? Because they're going to be different for different people. And then, second, try to identify places that might give you those things you want, and try to get ground truth on whether the people who do work there get those things. What do they say about the place they work? And then third, once you've identified and confirmed that that's where you want to get to, find ways of getting at least invited for an interview there by highlighting what they would be looking for in a new candidate, and compare yourself with how the people you look up to you think got in there, and see if you have what it takes. So I think that for you to get closer to being happy in your workplace and in your position, you should step towards aligning your true internal genuine goals with the reality of the workplace. You should find out what the reality of the workplace is, see which ones of these aligns with your genuine goals, and then just disregard the beaten path or prestige or the stuff that your parents want you to do and all that kind of stuff. Just look for what you want and find out where you can actually get it, and then go for it. And this career advancement is an iterative process. Every move that you make, every change that you do, every time you switch from one job to another, there should be a step that brings you a little closer to what you genuinely want to do. And all the while, you should build up your competence and your professional capital for the next switch. Some people switch 10 times, 20 times in a career. Some people switch only once or twice, or even never. I mean, never is very rare these days in tech, but it is possible to, spend your whole career in a very nice place, maybe until it closes down. Stick a like on the video if it helped you. How do you think this compares with where you are today, and with your experience and with your ambitions for the future? Let me know what you thought in the comments, and say turmeric to signal that you are here till the end. If you like this video, I'm sure you will love this other one as well.